everybody, Ryan Medora here, and today we're going to learn a fun, simple, easy reggae bass line. We're going to Bob Marley world. We're going to check out Stir It Up, and there are quite a few reasons why I like this song. One, I think that there's always room for reggae in our lives. It's just a fun vibe and a good groove. Two, I love reggae bass playing because it does a lot of stuff with like playing with time and being really basic and then being able to figure out how to make it a little bit more advanced with like some funky stuff and dead notes and things like that. And then it's also usually a great theory lesson. You know, a lot of reggae bass lines use triads and things that are kind of just musical concepts that we learn, but they're really easy to kind of spot in the world of reggae. So we're going to talk about those things today in this lesson. And if you want to get tab, notation, anything like that to accompany this, please head over to my Patreon page. I love having the supportive community there, and it really helps making these videos, and it gets you access to all the assets that go along with these lessons on my channel. So head over there, like this video, subscribe to the channel, do all the things, and right now we're going to get into the lesson. So to play this song, we're going to be in the key of A major. So to kind of get oriented in our key, we can just play an A major scale. And you can see that I'm starting here on the 5th fret of my E string, and I'm just kind of using my regular 4-fret span A major scale shape. So hopefully you're familiar with that. You want to play ascending, descending, get really comfortable in that key. And we're going to outline our chord progression. Now for this song, we're basically using a really simple chord progression, the 1-4-5, which is the thing that's really common in like a lot of blues and rock and reggae tunes. But when we say 1-4-5, it basically means that if we're in a key, like for instance, we're in the key of A right now, we're going to find our 1, which is going to be the root note of our key. The 4 is if we play like 1, 2, 3, 4, we find ourselves on a D, and then the 5 is going to be E. So again, I'm just kind of playing up my major scale, 1, 4, and 5. So A is our 1 chord, D is our 4, E is our 5. And that's really important because for us as bass players, we're going to be the ones that are kind of outlining or expressing the chord in this song. So to do this, now we know that our chord progression is going to be on our A. So we're going to go boom, 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 D, E. So it's kind of like a 2-bar phrase where we have the first full bar on A, and then the second bar is going to be 2 beats on the D chord and then 2 beats on the E chord. Now to kind of outline this and kind of create the bass part, what we're going to do is we're going to play our A, the 3rd, the C sharp, the 4th, the D, and then back to the 3rd, that C sharp. So the very first part of our bass line is basically going to go with that. Scale degrees 1, 3, 4, 3. And that's going to be what we play over our A chord. The next thing what we're going to do is we're going to play a D major triad, or D, F sharp, A, root 3rd, 5th over a D chord. There it is, we're spotting that triad. So this is a great way to be like, oh wow, this bass line actually just, you know, pulls in some musical concepts. What a thing. Then we want to find our E chord, and we're going to play a major triad over that as well. So again, the cool thing about this is we're playing a little figure over our A, then we're just playing a major triad over the D chord and the E chord. Now there are 2 ways that you can approach this. The first is that if you want to use the same fingering pattern for your triad over the D, you can go middle, index, pinky for the root 3rd, 5th, and then you can shift that same pattern up and play that over the E chord. So that's option 1. Option 2 is you can kind of, you know, explore your major triad patterns a little bit and do that middle finger starting pattern on the D chord. And then you can do a pattern where you play your major triad with your pinky finger. So your pinky is on the root, the ring finger is on the major 3rd, and then your index finger will play the 5th. So here we have major triad starting with our middle finger on the D, and then a major triad starting with your pinky finger on the E. So really you can do either one of those options. Now the choice to do one or the other is going to come down to, you know, what other stuff you're going to play to make your bass line more interesting, or how you want to set your hand to be able to play other things. And so again, the cool thing about this bass line is we can play really simple, really basic, just like this. And repeat that. or we can start to bring in some other fun things, which is what we're going to do right now. Now we're going to integrate some dead notes and some little slides and things like that. So if you go listen to the record, you're going to hear that the bass does a lot to mimic the guitar part, and there's a lot of cool like little dead note picking kind of things that are happening. So one of the things that I like to do with this is to integrate two things. First, a dead note right before that C sharp. So when I play that, I'm playing the root note. Before I play that C sharp, I'm doing a dead note into it, playing the D, and then I'm going to dead note again into that C sharp. That's like a really cool thing to just add a little bit of fun rhythm to it. And then I'll play my triad. And there we go. We have our triads on the D and the E. Now, if we want to add another fun thing, I like to do a little bit of a slide from that D up to the E. So when I go like this, I'm going to add that slide, meaning I'm going to play my D major triad, and then I'm going to hit that D again, and then slide up to the E and get myself in position to play my E major triad. Just like that. So if I integrate both of those concepts, the dead notes and then that little slide, it's going to sound like this. There you have it. And you can add other dead notes and other fun things too to this bass line. You can also get really creative and kind of, play with the way you order the notes in the triad. If you have the option to kind of mess around and improvise a little bit, you can sometimes play root, third, fourth, third, root, third, fifth, root, fifth, third. You can kind of flip the order of the notes in the triad. I would recommend starting with the root note every time in this particular line, but you can kind of flip the root third fifth or root fifth third to kind of make it a little bit more interesting. You can also kind of play off the octave. You can kind of play the triad up and down. There are a lot of little things you can do to get creative. So again, the cool thing about this is you have a very full spectrum bass line where you can start really basic without any dead notes or other things. You can kind of figure out if you want to use different triad shapes, and then you can start to integrate dead notes, slides, different ways of playing the arpeggios. So there's a lot of fun stuff to do here. Now, as you go and you play this song, there's a cool little verse part, which I'm just going to show you real quick, where you're basically just playing the root, the second, third, as if you're playing over just the A chord. You're going basically do, re, mi, do. And I'm going to play that second scale degree twice. So I'm going to go root, second, second, third, back to the root, or do, re, re, mi, do. And I'm going to have 2 beats of rest. That's super important. That time I took the same exact thing, I just shifted it over to my D chord. So I played my little melodic theme of root, second, second, third, back to the root. And then I'm going to play that same figure on the D chord, just like that. So. And that's all it does in the verse. So you want to make sure you have that space there. You want to make sure you're playing that little melodic figure. But that's really it. This song, again, is super simple, and I hope you dug this lesson and you got some cool little nuggets of theory out of it. So if you want to get tab notation, anything like that, please head over to my Patreon page, and thank you for being here. Happy practicing, everybody, and keep it groovy.